Anyways, we are back with a bit of a different video. Actually, as you can see, the collection behind me is sort of torn apart, shall we say. There's a lot of stuff missing, as you can see, because it's beside me here. This is actually the third video in the last 3 days, so there is planned for one for tomorrow. I haven't actually scheduled it yet, but there is one for tomorrow. I'm not sure about Friday, though. Friday for me this week is a little bit weird. Before we get into the games behind me and sort of the content, I guess, the meat of the video, I sort of want to talk about how the channel is going to work in terms of content over the next little while. So typically I would do about 3 to 4 videos a week, typically. I do try to stay more towards the 4 videos a week side of things, but coming up, either this weekend or next weekend, I could actually be working. And you might be wondering, what does that mean? So it basically means that there will be days where I won't be doing much content until I know the schedule for that week, which will allow me to figure out videos and stuff like that, because I only get 2 days off a week from work. You might think, oh, that's Saturday, Sunday. It's not. It's not all the time Saturday, Sunday. It could be Monday and Tuesday. It could be any sort of combination. So I am still hoping to do around 3 to 4 videos a week. Typically, I would try to drop it down to 3 videos a week. I am willing to go down to 2 videos a week if I need to. I don't want to go down to do 2 videos a week. I like to be around 3 to 4, ideally 4 videos a week. But I might not have that choice, right? Depending on how busy work becomes. So yeah, I do want to throw that out there, that videos are still going to happen even if I'm working, but they won't be as quick to come up, or quick to be uploaded as normal. But if I have like a day off or something like that, standard, record, edit, upload that same day. But it all really depends on the schedule, shall we say. So, what is the topic of the video? It's how I collect Switch games and games in general. I'm going to show a couple sites that I've used in the past to buy games and stuff like that. And actually, if I do this, sorry, I'm just trying to, there we go. And then here we are. So, like I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to get games and stuff like that on the import side of things. I have most of the games that I have beside me here, like the the 9 beside me. Some of them I did get. Actually, all of them. Yeah, all of them I have bought online from various sites, shall we say. And that goes for the majority of the Switch collection. I would say probably only about 10%, if that, was bought in store. I think it's only like at least a dozen games, if that. Were bought in store. Everything else was bought online from the 3 sites that I'm going to show you. Obviously, there's more and stuff like that, but these are the 3 that I've used, I would say, extensively since October of last year, basically. Well, there's one that I really used a lot of, and that's where most of the 9 games beside me have come from. So let's get into it, and we'll talk about Switch 2 stuff as well. And here we go. Boop. There we go. First one I do want to talk about is eBay. eBay, like I said, some of these, I think, actually, none of these games in my hand here were bought off of eBay, actually. But I do have games in the collection, like I said, behind me, that were from eBay. Most of my Pokemon stuff that I have, like the Japanese ones, are from eBay. I do have a few others that I bought from eBay, but those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. eBay's not bad, you just have to be careful with how you buy games and stuff from them. Typically for me is if I buy a game off of eBay, good example here. So let's say I look at Blue Moon Glass here, for example. This is the Hong Kong Chinese version because it has English. The Japanese version for this game does not have English. So I click it here. I look at this rating here. You can see here 98.7% positive feedback from just over 6,600 sold items. So I do take a look at that quite a lot, and also the pricing as well. But the other thing I do keep an eye on is shipping. That's another big one for me as well. So between the actual seller's rating, the price, the shipping, I also look at the comments, like the feedback here. I do take a look at that as well. So I do use eBay a little bit, but I don't use it as much as I should. But the eBay is one that you can use. This is another one that I've used, and again, none of the games behind me were bought off of this site, if I remember correctly. Yeah, no. You can use also Amazon as well. This is just a site that I've used as well, mostly for like normal US ones, that because a lot of the time the next site we're going to jump to primarily handles like Japanese and other regions. These guys pretty much most of the time handle like North America and Europe a lot of the time. But they do sometimes also have other regions as well. But pretty much it's only like US, Europe, that stuff. This site, on the other hand, Play Asia, about 90%, except for these three games here in my hand, were bought off of this site. The Messenger was, if we jump back over to here, this one was bought off of VGP, or Video Game Plus, recently. Not too bad. I think this was about $50-something, $52, I think. But this is one I did want to actually get a hold of before it gets really really back up in price. This was actually part of the reprint that they just recently did for this game. The other site that you can use, which actually is the next two games, actually were bought off of different times. Amazon. I've used Amazon actually quite a fair bit actually for Switch stuff. But yeah, Super Mario 3D All-Stars was bought off of there in 2023, and Celeste was this year actually. I bought it off of Amazon. I do have a digital version as well, which is what we used in yesterday's video. I did want to have a physical, primarily just for the collection. And then these other 6 games? Yeah, 6 games were bought off of, here we are. These 6 games right here were bought off of Play Asia at various points throughout the year, and that goes for my entire collection behind me. Most of my games were bought off of Play Asia, and you might be wondering, like, why? Well, because most of these games never had a North American release, right? Except for 2 of them actually did have North American releases. I have 2 of them here. I don't have the entire collection, shall we say, and that is Shantae, Half Genie Hero, Ultimate Edition, and 7 Sirens. Both of them I bought off of Play Asia. They both play perfectly fine in English, and that's another thing too. Like, if I import a game, it has to have English in one of 2 different ways: be fully playable in English or have English subtitles. I made the mistake with the Godfather for 360. That one is fully in Japanese. There is no subtitles. So that one will probably not appear on the channel, just because I don't want to actually screw anything up in that one. I do actually have a Japanese 360, which we will be using tomorrow, actually, for the video for tomorrow. I do need to do some testing with one of the games I have behind me, to see if it'll work on my US one. If it does, great. If not, I can turn on my Japanese 360. So yeah, so like I said, most of these games that I have beside me here, these last 6, plus a majority of the ones still on the shelf, were from Play Asia. And you might be wondering, like, how do you go about selecting the ones that you want to import or buy? There's 2 different, what's the right word here, categories that I use. One is, do I want to play it? And 2 is, do I want it specifically for the collection? Like, for example here, these 2. This is actually a good representation. Like, this one I actually wanted to have in the collection plus play. right? So there's a bit of some of the games in the collection behind me, plus the others that are down below, are a bit of a mix between ones I want to have for the collection and play. This is one of those ones where I want to have it in the collection and also play. Whereas Celeste, on the other hand, the physical version of it, was primarily for the collection, considering I do have a digital version. So this one was primarily just to have in the collection. Messenger, on the other hand, like I was saying, let me grab it here, was one I did want to grab before it can get expensive again. And I don't always do that. Like, I don't always grab expensive games. Like, let me actually, I need to pull something up, actually, because I can't remember a lot of these prices, because a lot of these have, I've ordered these such a long time ago, that the prices have just escaped my head. For example, and also some of the games I have, one in particular which I have on top here, there could also be some that could be banned due to specific content, shall we say, which means that, oh, hold on a sec here, means that it could get kind of hard to get a hold of because of supply and demand and all that sort of stuff. So I actually ordered a lot of these games pretty late last year. Like, for example, the one that I have in the stack here, and obviously there's more in behind me, is this game, Tokyo Clan Pool, which this one will not come to the channel unless I'll have to age restrict that video for sure, just because of the themes of that game, which I have played a little bit of, actually. So that one I ordered on the 24th of December of last year, and it's kind of expensive. That one was like 60 bucks. That one was expensive, but not as expensive as Death Smiles 1 and 2. That's actually a US copy, if I remember correctly. That was like $67. I'm just looking at my list here. Whereas the one that I'm going to show you is, where is it here? Steam Prison, which I ordered the 18th, sorry, the 30th of January, and Tokyo Clan Pool was the 24th of December of last year. This one is expensive. This one's about $100, so it's a very, very expensive visual novel, but it's also very highly rated, very well regarded, so I did want to get it because of that. And there are also a few that are import exclusives, like Tokyo Clan Pool is an import exclusive, Steam Prison is an import. The two Shantae games you can get, I saw them on Amazon, but they are like well more than what you would be paying for Japanese copies, and they play in English. So Half Genie Hero Ultimate was like $37, and Seven Sirens was $52. Like, they're like, I think, if I remember correctly, I think Half Genie Hero Ultimate was like, I think around 100, and Seven Sirens was like around like 80 or something, like $70, $80 or something like that. I haven't looked at what they are on Amazon in the last little bit, but that's what they were when I last looked. But one of the ones which actually shocked me, which was an import exclusive, at least for the Switch, I'm not sure about PS4 or Xbox One or any of that, is Okami, which we did on Monday. It was a really weird one that is an import exclusive, considering it, even though it's from Capcom, it is an import exclusive, which is kind of odd, but it is what it is. So this one I did want to actually get a hold of and actually play. The other one that is also kind of expensive, which I did show in a video talking about, I think it was like, what did I label it? I think it was like $80 plus Switch games, or like more expensive Switch games or something like that. What did I what did I call that? What did I call that video? Yeah, most expensive Switch games, $80, which I did March of this year. This was actually listed in that video because this one was just above $80. This one, again, is a kind of expensive visual novel. It's like $82. Or that's at least what I paid for it at the time. In again, that was part of Steam Prison, Nightshade, and then I needed a little bit more in the cart to get free shipping for that order. So I just tossed in the game that we'll be playing tomorrow for like $8. So I was like, you know what, for $8 I'll grab it. But if we actually go back here for a second and actually type in yeah, there we are. Nightshade. Yeah, Nightshade right now is like $79 for me right now. I paid around $80 for it at the time, which is not great, but it's not terrible. I do have some others in my collection that are ironically a lot more expensive, which is kind of funny. I'll grab the other one. Ironically, this visual novel here is actually the most expensive visual novel I own, and is the, I think, third most expensive game I own in the Switch collection. The only reason why I think it's as expensive as it is because it was distributed by Limited Run about 5 years ago. If we jump over to Amazon right now, because that's where I bought it from this year actually. When did I buy it? I know I bought it, like I said, this year. Yeah, I bought it in January of this year, and it's not cheap. It was not a cheap order. So right now, they're about $80, but you do have to pay shipping and stuff like that, which is not cheap. So yeah, but you can also get it from Play Asia as well for a little bit cheaper. Well, actually, ironically, it's a little bit more, actually. So it's 83 Canadian. Again, I'll leave links down below for the Switch version for both Amazon and Play Asia. If you go through Amazon as of time of recording, through the link below, they only have 8 copies available. So keep that in mind. Whereas PlayAsia doesn't say how many they still have. It does play in English, English and Japanese. And you might also be wondering, like, are you still looking at Switch 1 games? Yes, there are a few that I'm still looking at. I actually have one currently on order at the moment, and that is Doom and Doom 2 from Limited Run. And that's going to ship out in sometime September. But there is another one that I am currently looking at, and that is this one, Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1. This was originally a banned game from the Switch, so meaning that there wasn't originally going to be, or there was originally a North American version sort of teased, shall we say, like it could actually be out, but just like Tokyo Clan Pool, this was originally slated to come out, or could have come out, but due to the new policies of Nintendo, they sort of killed it for Hyperdimension Neptunia. But as you can see here, it's being published by East Asia Soft, same as Tokyo Clan Pool. So this is going to probably be one of the other games I do get, because I do actually want to get it into the collection behind me. But yeah, there are, like I said, there are a few other Switch 1 games that I am looking at. Like I still need to get a physical copy of Pokemon Sword. What other one do I need to get a hold of? There's a couple others that I do actually need to get a hold of. What was it here? Was it this? Nope, it wasn't this list. This is a list. Yes, I still do need to get a physical copy of Pokemon Sword. And I do need to get a copy of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. I don't own that one. I do own a digital copy of Sword, but again, I am trying to get every physical Switch Pokemon game that has come out physically, like meaning at retail. So yeah, so I do actually need to get a physical copy of that as well. That one could be either a US copy or a Japanese one. That one really doesn't matter to me. Whereas Pokemon Sword, in terms of a physical, needs to be a US copy, just for DLC reasons. So, yeah. So like I was saying, the one that is actually the most expensive visual novel, considering it was distributed by Limited Run. It's not even in part of their limited numbered series. Is this one. I'm just trying to get it. Nurse Love Obsession, which includes Nurse Love Addiction and Syndrome all in one cartridge. So this is actually expensive. This one was, at the time I bought it, was $106. So yeah, kind of expensive. So like I said, there's always Switch 1 games I am looking at. There are a few that I am looking at and actually already have in the cart via PlayAsia, because I can't get them anywhere else. and those are, oh, I actually already have them in the cart. A piece of Blue Moon glass. I do need to get that one in the collection before it jumps in price. And the one that we just mentioned, which is the Hyperdimension Neptunia RE Rebirth 1. That I do need to get a hold of as well to add to the collection behind me. But like I said, those won't happen until probably, I would say, late June, early July. Maybe even August, because Hyperdimension doesn't even come out until the 31st of August, so I'll probably jump on and order it as quick as I can. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, there's a few others that I am looking at, and you might be wondering, like, are you going to get a Switch 2? Yes, I am still planning to get Switch 2. It's just that budgets and stuff like that at the moment aren't really feasible, and everything like that. So I'm just going to wait until I have the budget and everything. Hence why I am working, which has allowed me to basically buy the games I showed plus all the ones that you can see behind me on the shelf, was from work over the last couple of summers. Now Switch 2 collecting. That is going to be a little, it can get a little difficult because not every publisher is going to actually, let me grab do a physical cartridge. From what I've seen and read and heard, a lot of them being first party stuff like Square Enix and Atlas and stuff like that are going to be sort of not codes in a box, but sort of a code in a box type of thing, like basically a game. What's the actual word here? Like sort of going to be like a, not a code in a box type of thing, but game keys, game key card sort of thing, which is basically a fancy word of saying code in a box in a sense, but basically you can sell those apparently, or anything like that. But I don't know. So Switch 2 for me is going to be a little bit difficult. Well, I shouldn't say difficult. A little bit more research, shall we say, to see, okay, is it on full on cartridge like Steam presented, or is it like a download code type of thing? Because if it's a download code sort of thing, then I'll just buy it digitally. So yeah. And you might be wondering, like, what about the import side of things? I don't know about that at the moment. That I'm still waiting to see sort of what comes in terms of that. That side of things. So I have no idea. That side could be a little bit weird, but I'll see sort of what happens, like everybody. But my main priority right now is getting a Switch 2 at the moment, and also getting through a lot of the backlog here as well, which we might actually do Friday, actually. Maybe later Friday. Once I know sort of what's going on with work and all that, I might schedule something in there, but who knows. So yeah, so if you guys do want to see a specific video on like a specific genre, like visual novels, for example, I can do that. But yeah, I might even do that anyways, just to sort of show what visual novels I have, because I actually have quite a few in the collection. So anyways, bye bye.